This is Hardy Brute with another run of Novems. Last time we completed the Alchemy deck, the double attacking stun build, and this time we're going to move on to the Art of War. It's going to be brand new cards, brand new links, and a unique mechanic for this is that you get to choose a leader or commander card. From left to right, at the start, the front row gets 3 times damage, the back row gets 2 times. At start of turn activations, activate twice. When he is damaged, all allies gain damage based on the number of rounds. All units gain plus 5% health, which scales each turn. So it goes from plus 5, plus 10, plus 15. And all non-linked cards gain 10 times damage. So I've already played with the 2 damage scalers. So this time I think I'm going to play the tank and scale our health instead. So we started with 2 different knight cards. The Great Axe, which has really good stats, but receives half recoil damage. And we got the Mace Knight, who will survive with 1 health, and double his damage whenever he has 1 health. But I think we're going to try to get the cross-shaped 5 Knight Voltron, assemble the 5 different knights, and see what happens. This soldier only basic attacks. And we've already got 4 of the 5. The Twin Blades is a really good card because it double attacks, and whenever he attacks, he scales damage as well. The Heavy Infantry can only counterattack, and he mainly links with himself. And the Twin Blades links with some later cards. So let's start the battle. Our leader's already a 30-30. He's got 2 healers in the middle. He's got a reviver at the bottom and a poisoner at the top. Now the game is using the basic deck again, so hopefully the game will evolve so that it'll either use the same deck you're using or just a random deck at some point. But the boss battles are always unique. And this was fight 1 of 10, and then the boss battle royale at the end. And so we can buy the Greatsword Knight, who has a lot of damage, 35, and only 4 health. His ability is that he destroys barriers. We found the 5th Knight for the link, and I'm going to relock the Twin Blade. We can buy both of them next round, because we'll have 4 mana. An Uncommon Cavalier, he scales damage. He has some interesting links. But hopefully our 5x5 Knight pays off. So he's got 2 wolves that scale damage. The enchanters also scale damage. But he doesn't have a lot of defense. And most of our units do 30-35 damage. They one-shot their creatures. So this deck is a lot better than the basic deck. At least initially. So let's buy the 5th Knight and create the link. So all of the knights have more damage, more health. He still destroys barriers. He also destroys barriers. And this card grants plus 10 health to the front and back row. This one will retain 1 life and double damage. And so will this one. So they retain their most useful ability. And they get better stats. We found 2 uncommon. The Court Mage reduces all enemies' health by 30%, but he only links with himself. And the Royal Knight, which buffs the damage of all other cards he's adjacent to. He also mainly links with himself. So let's just buy the Twin Blades for now. Put it in the front so it acts faster. And let's start the next fight. And so he's got a Poisoner in the corner, the Reviver next to him, the Plant in the middle heals, Scaling Damage Wolf, Basic Attack Goblin, and his Flaming Fighting Spirit scales damage as well. But our entire team has so much upfront damage that we one-shot them again. Until they get more than 40 health, we're just going to destroy them. So we found the Wandering Samurai. He actually links with our Twin Blades. He gets damage when he is damaged. And now that damage is increased to plus 10. And the Twin Blades damage scales to plus 10 as well. It used to be 2 or 3. So they have the same ability, they just are stronger. The Hammer Twin destroys barriers on attack, has 100 damage and 35 life. He also has a lot of interesting links. The Crimson Witch doesn't attack, but it deals damage based on empty spaces around her. She also sorta links with our Hammer Twin, but we have no space for her to even test her out. He mainly links with himself, up and down, and he's a cross-shaped as well. So I'd really like to do the hammer build. They're as strong as our linked knights already, but with a leader and the cross-shaped, we're very limited on space to link. And these are some new cards, I don't know what these ones do. Start of the turn, cards left and right gain damage. 10 damage to a random row. So these are just buffer cards. But they have 50 to 60 health though. But all of our units do 50 to 60 damage just by themselves. So that was already win 4 of 10. Our early game is incredibly strong. I think our late game's gonna have issues though. Arcane Soldier attack the highest damage unit. He goes diagonally, or 2x2. He does a cross attack, that's interesting. So none of these cards. This card buffs the cards around him when he dies. I'm starting to think of some synergies between the decks themselves. But yeah, really interesting if you could combine them. The Golden Knight. Discard all cards in our hand, he gets plus 10 damage for each. But he starts with a big health pool. And I'd like some cards that could scale later into the game. So we found the second twin. I think it's time to get rid of our 5 knights. And these two link together just by themselves. Counterattacks when attacked. He also destroys barriers. He attacks a row. And he stuns the attackers. Those 2 cards alone are already better than our 5 knights, I believe. And maybe I'll link these 4 gold knights. Either in a cross or a square. So he gets a lot of health up front. He does the poison to everybody. The Corrosion Wolf will spread it around. And the undeads are going to do 1-for-1s. They also have 200 health, so they're probably going to get their ability off. Yeah, just like that. Before we can kill them. So this was actually a pretty close fight. I think our leader's a really strong card just on its own though. He's been carrying us a bit. Although we're missing out on the links that we could have had. When sent to the graveyard, ×2 the damage of adjacent cards. And the link for that's pretty easy to get. You just need 2 cards. And right now we're just trying to replace our 5 knights that we had, so we still have 2 knights that, well, they have decent damage. They don't really do anything on their own. Yeah, so we're looking for the Reaper or a second one of these. We found a wall. It doesn't attack itself, but it removes damage when he is attacked. It's interesting. So none of these ones. We're still looking for more Golden Knights, more Twins, a second Holy Sword. So let's start the battle. So he's got a Slime, a Scaling Wolf, a 1-for-1, and the Lizards are the worst thing for our team. They explode on death and deal 20 damage to everybody, and a lot of our cards have around 50 health or less. So we kind of barely won that one, although the Golden Knight did help us a bunch. Let's fight 6 of 10. Yeah, let's see what the shop has. And none of these. Found the second Holy Sword, which will link with itself. So it's got 20 damage, 20 health. When it dies, surrounding cards get plus 50 damage, and they also get plus 50 health. That's not the greatest mechanic, but it's not bad. It's only a 1-by-1. This is a new card. It attacks in a column. And this is a lone knight. He doubles his damage and health if you have less cards than the enemies. Only at the start of the battle, though. So this is our first ultra rare card. Attacks in a column and does a double attack, but he only has 10 attack. He also hurts the cards behind him, removing their health. But I do not like his links at all. Both of his links take up a lot of space. They mess up our twin link and our golden knight link. So that would screw us over on both of those occasions, if we're lucky enough to find them. And we got our third twin. Now we just need one more. And both sets of twins have really good base stats, so I'm hoping the link is really good as well. So he's got 2 flaming buff cards, which scale damage in the front row. He's got 3 Hex Serpents, and those are his best cards by far. They attack all of the cards and give poisons. But by doing that, he killed our Spirit Sword. So our entire team is really buffed right now. They had 50 extra damage and 50 extra health. So that was win 7 of 10. So let's buy the twin. We found another piece of the Spirit Blade, but that doesn't really help us. And we found our first legendary. So the damage he does, he gets back as health. If he has more than 300 health, he gains 100 damage and loses 100 health. So this is a really good card. He just scales off himself. He doesn't link with anything though, but he's a lot better than our just common knight. He also scales a bit with our leader, who gives health to our entire team. Sephram Knight is an ultra rare card. When he is damaged, he gives 30 health to cards in a column. He also has a corner link, would be really easy to fit on our board if we get lucky enough to get our 4th twin, or get 3 more golden knights. We're probably not going to go with the golden knights. We haven't been lucky enough to find any of those. These, and we got the twins. And those are the ones we need, too. So I think it's time to get rid of the twin blades. The samurai as well. So it actually links with itself before the big link. And so he has really high base stats, but he stops you from getting any sort of buffs for health or damage. But 200 is really strong. Now let's check out the big link. So it's only 50, 120. So he attacks in a column, and after he attacks, he gets 20 damage, and the card behind him gets 20 damage. This card is the same, and he attacks in a row instead of a column. And him and the card in front of him gain 20 health. So that's a really cool concept. 2 cards that attack in a row, 2 item cards that attack in a column, and they're both scaling health and damage each time. So I think that link is really, really strong. We got our second gold knight finally, but I think it's a bit too late. We already got a 2x2 link with our twins. And I really like their link. Our team also finally has some health, so we can fight. A drawn out fight now. He's got 3 triple attackers for 30 damage. That probably would have destroyed us before. The Soul Fox gains health based on damage. The Evil Oni, if he has less than 50 health, starts scaling damage. And the Silver Wolf scales damage based on how many links he has. And he didn't have a ton of links. So he just had some high base stats, but I think ours were better, and they scale every single time they attack. So let's fight 8 of 10. Right now our Spirit Blade is not in the best position, and it doesn't really fit the team, because he's only going to buff 4 cards or so. But it is a link at least. The Thunderblade attacks in a cross and stuns the attacked units, but he also stuns himself every other turn. We also can't fit his links really anywhere on the board, because we have our twin links. But we're looking for more legendaries, more purples, cards to replace our Spirit Blades, or just a bunch of legendary cards. The Samurai Warrior gives health to the surrounding cards, and if there's no cards behind him, he gains plus 20 damage. He does link with himself, but he doesn't really help our team too much. I can't really surround cards with our current placement. The Sephram Knight, though, He's the one that when he gets damaged, he heals units in a column. And that would hit our entire board. He also fits in the 2 corners. So I think I'm going to buy him, replace our Golden Knight, and hopefully we get a second one of those. See what his link is. But he's going to hit a lot more of the board than a surrounding ability. Especially when I have them in either corner. Hopefully when they link, their ability just gets stronger, because I like his ability a lot. Yeah, so the Unicorn heals them each round 30. The Plunderer scales damage initially. He's already at 130. The Dark Eater also gives them damage initially. His 2 top cards, the Pain Demon when he's attacked, he gains damage, and the Soul Fox gains health when he attacks. So he has a lot of initial burst damage. And he's already killed 3 of our cards. This is a really close fight. I think our abilities and synergies are stronger than his. But when he has so much initial damage, he's gonna hurt. So we kind of barely won that one. Let's fight 9 of 10. And we found the alternative link, the Tome card, for our Holy Sword. So let's check out this link and see if it's better. So its stats are a lot better, 40-120. And every time it attacks, it doubles their attack. So it goes 40-80-160. That is a much better link. The other link buffs the team, but it really only buffed half the team, if that. So we're mainly looking for a second Sephram Knight now. Maybe an alternative legendary card. And there's our second Sephram. That is perfect. Let's check out this link. So this artwork is awesome. It's got 60 damage now, 160 health. And his ability changed to at the start of the turn instead of when he's attacked. And he gives 40 health instead of 30 to the column and row around it. All the highlighted cards. So that is just a much better ability. And sadly, I'm going to have to get rid of my legendary card for it. But we just don't have room. We have our leader, our big link. And at this point, I don't really know what I'd be looking for anymore. We kind of got everything I wanted. Commander of the Banner. He gives plus 10 damage to adjacent cards, multiplied by the number of links you have. His link is also the row in the middle. So he'd probably be an alternative to our twins. But our entire team scales, as long as they survive. So he has a unicorn that gives health each turn. He's got 7 triple attackers. And the Creeping Chill, which gives everybody plus 60 damage at the end of the turn. So he could become scary. If we don't kill him fast enough. Probably scarier than our team. And now the triple attackers have 80 damage. But there's only 3 left. So I think we've got this. We only got 1 triple attacker left. And we have a lot more than 240 health. So that wasn't as close as I thought it was going to be. We actually did really well in that fight. And that was the first 10 battles. Let's go on to the boss battles. And unless we see a new card, I think our team is pretty set. There are a bunch of common, uncommon. Got the Shadow Assassin. He applies a buff to a horizontal row, which makes him take increased damage. The Sage of the Runes. He changes the buffs around him to himself instead. But we don't have a ton of buffer cards. We have self-buffer cards, kind of. We found the Dragon Armor. When he attacks, he gains it as health. When he's attacked, he gains it as damage. But there's a 30% chance that he will just randomly die. Most of these purple cards would fit. They would just replace our twins. But I like the twins a lot. And I kind of want to believe in them. So he's got a barrier. A double creeping damage scaling. But I'm not overly impressed with this team so far. He does have a 5 attack card though, which has a 130 damage now. It's got 10 health, but it got 1 big attack off before the end. Alright, well that got a little scary. That was fight 11, and I think you go to fight 13 until you finish. But I think I'm committed to the twins. The other purple links, I'm not sure what they link into, and would leave us at a disadvantage for 1 or 2 fights. So like guaranteed losses. So if we'd found those cards early on, we could have done that build. Even with the Massacre Tyrant. Because the twins are all blues, that upgrades into a purple when they're linked. Yeah, so I'm sure the purple links have the possibility to be stronger. This is just a generic basic attack. 5,000 damage, 5,000 health. Let's see if we do enough damage. Our team kind of scales slowly each round, and our leader only gives us health. So our leader is no use in this fight. But our 2 bottom cards, if they can survive long enough, they're going to win us the fight. And one of them's dead. We need 1 more big hit. Nice. Because every single time he doubles his attack. So he's up to 2,500. Win 12. We need 1 more win. Do a quick roll down. We definitely could have done the dragon armor. We've seen plenty of those. But having a 30% chance to kill yourself is not great on a card. So he's got 9 Forsaken Face, which reduces our damage by 10. Their stats are also really huge. 200 damage, 200 health. Our twins are going to slowly scale back damage, but I don't think that's going to be fast enough. And they lower our attack every single turn, not just once at the start. So I don't know how you beat this one. You have to use an alternative source of damage like poison or something. And what did his middle card do? It was just a generic basic attacker. But his 9 faiths are OP. Hopefully we don't fight that guy again. So we got a different legendary. Surrounding cards will get damaged based on how many victories you have. And the infect increases at the end. Also by the number of victories. Yeah, so I think I'm going to buy him. And replace our 2 healing units. Just because we'll have more damage scaling. And we could maybe win that fight. But I kind of doubt it. I would also like to replace our leader if we could. Because scaling health sometimes isn't enough. Sometimes you're dead before that even matters. But let's start the fight. So he has 2 unicorns which scale health. He's got 2 legendary birds, which doubles everybody's health initially. His middle card scales damage every single round. And his sealed knight times 5s his damage and his health after turn 3. So this is a kill the team quickly kind of boss, or you're super screwed. And I don't think we have the damage for this. His sealed knight has 13,000 health now. If that wasn't enough, he had 2 5 attackers as well. So we have 1 more chance, and we can't fight either of those bosses. We found a new legendary. He multiplies his damage and its health based on the number of turns, but it only has 10 damage and 10 health initially. So that card could scale insanely, or it could get one shot. Yeah, but we have quite a bit of scaling right now. As long as we survive. Found the Demon Mask again, who scales his health and his damage. And I think I might throw him in over our 2-link here. Because he does basically the same thing as them, his stats are just a little bit better. And he can heal himself too. But the Holy Sword, just by itself, when they die, she'll ×2 the attack on both the cards on either side of her. So it'll help Scale both of those legendary cards. So our setup isn't bad right now. And we've got a new team. 4 Pain Demons, which gain damage based on how much they're attacked. And the Hellforged, which does the same thing. But he starts with 6.5k health. And he's already at 1-shot damage. And I don't think we got this one either. Their scaling was just a bit better than ours. I would have hoped with our leader, who scales health, 5%, 10%, 15% health per round, that we could have escaped some of the one-shot territory stuff. But the bosses we fight just scale damage way too fast. So we should have picked a different leader, and we probably should have abandoned the twins. But I don't regret picking them. Well, we made it to the end, but we didn't complete the final fight. We didn't get 13. But I still had a lot of fun. If I played again, I would probably play the Alchemy deck again, check out some new links, check out some new things. And if you'd like to see more, let me know. I'll see you.